Can I have a motion to open the work session?
Motion to open the work session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Alright, so let's start our work session of April 11th.
Good evening, tonight the work session, we just have a few administrative items. We have the retroactive approval of the payment of claims that was issued last week. We have 2 street opening permit bond releases. We have the authorization to accept the proposal for T-shirts for recreation and parks. We actually received 6 proposals, so we're gonna go with the recommending the lowest bid there. We have the authorization to purchase supplies and installation for the tile work in the men's and women's restrooms in Town Hall. It's a little over $18,000. We're going to redo the downstairs bathrooms. There's a men's bathroom downstairs that also serves as a kind of it's gonna be the ADA compliant bathroom as well. And then there's a dedicated women's bathroom there, so we're gonna redo both of those bathrooms. We have authorization to attend a conference, that's for Tiffany and administration. Authorization to approve a banner request for Newcastle Fire District. Authorization to approve an electrical permit refund. They took in the permit and unfortunately the property wasn't in Newcastle, so we're going to refund the permit. We have the authorization to settle the 3 tax certiorari proceedings. The authorization to use town property for the garden club to hold their annual plant sale. The resolution granting the sanitary sewer easement on Croton Avenue. And the resolution authorizing the CREI to establish a social media presence.
So Ed, just a couple things, so with 2 things I had comments on. So with regard to the proposal for the T-shirts for rec. I might have read it wrong, but I know that the All County was the cheapest, but I thought that Spectrum came in pretty close. And given that it's a company with, you know, differently abled people, I was hoping we were gonna give that somewhat of a preference. Are we allowed to do that?
Oh, you may be required to. I haven't looked at that particular one, but if they're reachable, we should take a look at it.
Unfortunately, I know they weren't the lowest bidder.
They weren't.
By quite a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Did I read it wrong? I thought that they
Yeah, I don't think they
were
were close.
pretty close.
Yeah, and there were 6 different bidders on that.
There were.
But if we can reach out to them,
Are we allowed to do that?
Are they a preferred source?
Don't know about
They're on the state list. I know that they do printing for many other.
Alright, then we have to look at
Towns.
how much lower they were than the lowest responsible.
So when can we wait 1 week before we approve that?
I think the timing is kind of important here because I know they need to order these in order to have them for town camp. I don't know what the lead time was.
I'm feeling like we could probably wait 1 week.
And are you gonna check to see? what-
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not gonna have an answer in the next 30 seconds.
Right.
Okay. And then the other thing with regarding the social media presence, I have no issue with that, except that we talked last time about making kind of policies with who was going to approve those posts and how social media from any town committees was gonna function on a more general basis that can be applied to everyone.
I tried to capture that in Roman numeral 3, and maybe I've missed it a little bit, but it reads to these, and this is in the last page of the packet, 106. It reads, to the extent that CREI uses its Facebook page to disseminate a particular opinion, position, or commentary, shall obtain prior written approval. So I was trying to your point, trying to distinguish between that kind of post and just disseminating information that's consistent with the mission.
Right, like we're having an event.
So if
and can we still develop like guidelines that further detail that, or does it have to be in this resolution?
it should, if you wanna build that out, it should be in this resolution.
Yeah, and the resolution mirrors the discussion that we had with them at the last meeting.
So, you know, my understanding from the last time we spoke to them was that they were gonna, you know, we sort of said, we're not against this, we're generally in favor of this, we just have to come up with policies around it. So they were gonna start to think about designing it, but that there wasn't any, you know, specific deadline that they had. So I'm wondering if we want to come up with more general guidelines for all committees to follow.
That was my understanding, was that we were looking
Yeah.
at general guidelines for all committees that are authorized for
Right,
Facebook.
right. So I would kind of also propose we put that off until next week.
Okay, so I'll pull out the content that's in that last paragraph, and is there anything that is missing or you'd like to see changed?
What are the other boards or committees that use Facebook, what did their resolutions look like?
Well, the social media policy is relatively new, it's about a year old actually. So until then, I guess SAB has a Facebook page, but right?
I think
So
beautification advisory
That probably
board.
predates the policy.
But the previous CRE had a Facebook, right?
I don't know.
I might be a little confused.
I guess the
about-
thought was that just, you know, given that all of these committees are representing the town to some extent, that we wanted to be able to understand what was being pushed out on to disseminate any information, because that reflects upon the town. And while we don't believe that anyone's going to say something that differs from the views of the town, you never know. And if that's how it's coming out, we wanted to be able to create those guidelines, and you did definitely touch upon it, that anything, you know, about an opinion, we wanna make sure that the town signs off on, but who's gonna do that? Is it the whole town board? That seems like it's not really,
That's burdensome.
it seems very burdensome, and if time is of the essence for something, that does not seem appropriate. So is it the liaison to the committee and the town supervisor, or is it, you know, I feel like we need to flesh that out, and it's not just for the CRE, it would be for any committee. So even the BAB is putting out something about, you know, town cleanup day, no problem, there's no opinion there, it is what it is, it's an event. But if they're putting out something that, you know, we hate plants or whatever it may be, you know, which may not be the views of the town board, we wanna make sure that anything that's expressing an opinion would be reviewed by the town.
But just to be clear that as it is now, these committees are expressing their views and disseminating information by simply posting on Facebook, not through their own page, but just on social media pages pertaining to the town. So they're already posting because as it stands, how else are they supposed to disseminate information? They're here to do that, so I'm just wondering if we could do it all in tandem, considering that there are committees that have Facebook pages already. And I think that if everyone's comfortable with this resolution, which is pretty simple, it's basically that they can use their page to disseminate information, and whatever is a matter of opinion, they would vet it, you know, the board would vet that, which is what we do anyhow. So this would allow them to post, you know, maybe post a little bit more about upcoming programs such as the Multicultural Festival that they're planning now, and perhaps ask for volunteers. So I don't know how long it would take us to write a policy that applies to all committees. It just seems that would take a bit of time. And you know, the programs, time is moving and the programs are coming up.
Yeah,
And I think we could do it by next week. We certainly disseminate information about those programs in the town newsletter, everything else, and on the town's Facebook page for events. But here, for instance, so it says the CRE can't disseminate any opinions, positions, or commentaries without prior written approval from the town board. So that means they have to bring it before the town board, we have to discuss it, we have to meet as a town board. That to me seems very burdensome,
Yes,
that it should be a smaller subset of the town board, because generally, with the type of commentary, that's gonna be time sensitive as well, and I don't know that we wanna have to wait, you know, 2 weeks for the town board to next meet at a formal meeting to discuss something. So I actually would wanna make this a little broader and flesh that out, but I feel like we can do that by next week.
I'm happy to. You, the town board, could decide that the town supervisor should be tasked with that responsibility. That's certainly doable.
I would think it should be the town supervisor and the liaison to that committee.
The other thing I was gonna suggest is if the board wants to go forward with this resolution, could, but I think if there's a desire to have a sort of a more permanent presence for this, we could take the social media policy and create, I wouldn't
Create a
necessarily
subset in there.
amend it, but we could add it to the policy because it's got relevant content that we're actually referencing in this resolution already.
Mhm.
So I think that would be a logical home for it to
That
live.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do we have a public hearing for that then?
I
don't think so.
I would put it on an agenda just to approve we'll call it an addendum or
Yeah. Okay,
and I'll bring that language back to you next week.
okay, so are we okay putting that off 1 week?
And then the resolution, do you wanna table the resolution or do you wanna just get this done?
Well, I think I'd table the resolution because this is, the way it's currently written, they have to come to the entire town board.
Right, we'd have to change that.
I don't think a week would hurt. And it's
Okay.
not written properly based on
Yep,
our current discussion.
okay.
But certainly, with the multicultural event, that's already been in the newsletters and we'll make sure to
Right.
keep pushing that.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, did anyone else have any questions on anything else?
Nope.
Alright. Okay. Well, then can I have a motion to adjourn the work session and open the town board meeting?
Motion to adjourn the work session and open town board meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, everybody, welcome to our town board meeting of Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. I hope everyone enjoyed the nice warm weather today. So we are going to start with any announcements. And this, I didn't have any, did you have any announcements?
So just to mention that tax collection is in full swing. Christina, do you have anything you wanna add to that?
Sure. Just a reminder that we are in the middle of town tax collection. If you have not received your bill, please contact us and we can send you one or email it. Taxes are due no later than April 30th and we do hold post-dated checks. So hope to see you soon.
Alright, any other announcements?
No, that's it.
Okay, so for my supervisor's report, I'm gonna hold most of that, you can all read about it. But I did wanna just briefly mention that this Friday at 4 p.m. will be a ribbon cutting for the dedication of the soccer field at Gedney to be the Casey Taub Field. So if anybody would like to come and support that, we would love to have you. It's 4 o'clock on Friday. Alright, anything else from the town administrator?
Nope, nothing from the town administrator.
Okay, so we're gonna move right to public comment, new business. Does anyone have any public comment? Alright, anyone online have any public comment?
No hands are raised.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well then, our public hearing. So, tonight's public hearing on the 50 North Greeley project is being postponed until May 9th. The town board understands the importance of public hearings in making informed decisions that benefit our town, and we're looking forward to hearing from residents as a means to inform our decisions. The 3D model that we requested is not yet available, so in the interest of ensuring transparency and providing our community with a fair opportunity to weigh in on the project, we have decided in conjunction with the applicant to delay the public hearing until we have all those necessary facts, which is currently anticipated to be on May 9th. I just wanted to say, rest assured, we are committed to making informed decisions that will reflect the best interest of our citizens and our entire town as a whole. So we don't need to open that public hearing, obviously. And we, I think, are just gonna move right to our consent agenda items and our resolutions. So we did talk in the work session that just happened just moments ago in the consent agenda items that I think we're gonna take off the authorization to accept proposal for t-shirts and also actually, and that's it. From the resolution.
Sorry,
right?
guys, I
don't
have
see-
an emergency to take care of at home.
Okay. I don't see the Facebook is not in here, so.
That was a proposed action.
Yeah,
So we'll just table it under.
yeah, we'll table that. So Ally, do you wanna start with the resolutions?
Sure, I move to adopt the consent agenda consisting of the items bulleted below.
With the exception of the recreation
With the exception of,
t-shirt.
sorry, with the exception of the approval for the recreation t-shirts.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye. So I move to retroactively approve the payment of claims in the amount of $787,152.18 listed on the summary AP check register and detailed voucher reports, all dated April 5th, 2023. Checks were printed and distributed to each claimant listed on Wednesday, April 5th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to authorize the promotion of Jamel Jones to the position of police sergeant within the Newcastle Police Department at the annual salary of $134,932, effective April 12th, 2023.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And congratulations.
Congratulations. Vicky, you wanna take that?
Okay, I move to authorize the reappointment of the following individuals to the Climate Smart Communities Task Force for a 2-year term effective April 13th, 2023 through April 12th, 2025. Sabrina Attorney Hulk as coordinator, Jennifer Mavis Flagg as chair, Bart Carey as member, Victoria Azapietis member, Alicia Molly as a member, Kent Thomas as a resident member, and Kellen Cantrell as a staff liaison.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I move to authorize the pay increase of Bosco Castillo as seasonal laborer 0425-05 within the Recreation and Parks Department from $16 per hour to $17 per hour, effective April 12th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I think that's it. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
It's mine, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Aye.